Broadcasting live from the Vegas Video Network studios, just steps from the Las Vegas Strip. It's time to get on the right side of sports betting. It's time for the Odds Couple.
Welcome to the Odds Couple on the world-famous Vegas Video Network. My name is Scott Pritchard. I'm joined by a man who just keeps following me around, Anthony Padilla.
Well, I can't help it. You're a handsome fella. And I am happy to be here with you today. Today we'll be talking about stormy weather both on and off the field, Tara's love for our beautiful wheel, and why if my buddy Scott Pritchard were a rapper, he definitely would have signed with Master P and No Limit Records.
I have no idea what that means, but I can't wait to find out. Let's get started with What Say You? The Lakers, will they make the playoffs? That's the million-dollar question. Kobe Bryant, outstanding star player for the Lakers, the face of the franchise, has gone on record as saying that he guarantees the Lakers will make the playoffs. Now, what's interesting about this is Kobe is all about Kobe. It's rare that he will guarantee and proactively and publicly call out in a positive light his team. But he says that the Lakers, he guarantees they will make the playoffs. I don't see it happening. What say you?
I don't care. I don't care if the Lakers make the playoffs. I'm amazed that this team has this much cachet that we're discussing like it's the champion. We're not even talking about the championship. We're asking, are they going to make the playoffs? And we're following this team day by day, game by game, the cohesiveness of this team since Mike Brown got fired from the Lakers 5 games into the season. You know, then Phil Jackson was supposed to come in. He got undercut, apparently, and they hired Mike D'Antoni. And then Mike D'Antoni wasn't the right fit for this team, and then all of a sudden they do start playing a little bit, but it's not because of D'Antoni, it's because of what Kobe's doing. And Dwight Howard, who's been an issue and nobody's liked him on the team all year, he wants to be traded, he wants to leave, then he's okay staying. And then Dwight Howard, when he was in Orlando, remember that guy? Remember how well he used to play? That's the guy the Lakers need, but that's not the guy that's there right now. Yeah, he's still doing all right, but he's hurt. He had back surgery, he's got shoulder problems, he's a baby, okay? There's no other way to put it. But all of a sudden, because they're winning, you know, he and Kobe weren't getting along, and then they went through Twitter wars, and now they're okay, and they're mocking each other because they're winning. Sure, they say winning solves everything, but again, we're not even talking about first place. We're talking about them trying to get into 8th, and they're acting like the fact that they might get into 8th makes them the championship team of old. I don't care about the Lakers. I've never liked the Lakers. I'm disgusted with what they're doing. I hated when Steve Nash went to the Lakers because, frankly, when he was with the Suns and he was rocking that better haircut, I don't know why he went to the Hitler cut this year, but he did, and I don't know what he's doing. But he's just not that. There's no cohesiveness with this team overall. Can they put it together for a couple of games here and there? Sure. They've got world peace. Of course they're going to figure it out once in a while, but I don't know if I made this clear enough. I don't care if the Lakers make the playoffs.
He doesn't care if the Lakers make the playoff, but he's wearing a purple shirt to promote the Lakers, so you figure it out.
No. If anything, this is closer to a Phoenix Suns purple.
Is that what it is?
Absolutely.
I wouldn't go on record as saying you're a Suns fan, my friend.
I'm proudly a Suns fan. Absolutely. It's not easy. We talk about this, man. My life is rough. Cowboys, Suns, Diamondbacks. There's nothing good about my personal life when it comes to my sports teams.
Well, the Lakers, again, they're 2 games back with just about 18, 19 games to go in the regular season. They're chasing Houston. They're chasing the Jazz. So we'll see how it plays out. Kobe Bryant, I admire his competitive spirit, but Anthony doesn't care. I'm saying the Lakers won't make the playoffs. We'll see how it plays out. Now, who's going to win the title? Last year, the NBA championship went through Miami. The Heat won it. A lot of people see them as the favorite again this year. Anthony, my good buddy, last week went on record as saying he likes the Thunder to win the NBA championship. They got there last year but lost to the Miami Heat. San Antonio Spurs have the best record in basketball. I'm going on record right here, right now, stating that the Miami Heat, winners of 16 straight contests, will win and repeat. Again, only one team wins. So, okay, you're talking really, I think there are 5 teams that might have a legit shot. I'm going with the Heat. What say you?
Now, folks, listen. This is why you tune into this show, because only on a program like this can you get the 25-plus years of a professional bettor like my friend here, Scott Pritchard, that will remind you and let you know that at the end of it all, only one team wins.
That's great. Thank you.
Absolutely. That's the kind of knowledge only a true professional can bring to the table. And that being said, that kind of sucks, because I was kind of going to pick 2 teams, thinking, you know, I could go with one or the other, or maybe they would both come out at the end. But since only one team wins, I did pick the Thunder last week, and I'm going to stick to that because here's what I think. I think in the East, you've got no real contention for the Heat. The Heat are on an impressive win streak right now, 16 in a row. You know, we talked about it in the NFL season. Gelling at the right time is very important. Now, there are still 20 games left, and God knows the playoffs alone take 4 months in themselves. But the Heat still have that team, you know, that they're built to go back to the finals in the East. As far as the West, I think it is going to be between the Spurs and the Thunder. Again, I think the Spurs, they're aged, and they've done very well for themselves, and they're a very good regular season team. But I think when it comes to the playoffs, that's where that fatigue is going to set in. And I don't think that they'll be able to match a young, fresh, energetic, hungry Thunder team who want to get back and prove that they are capable of winning it all. So I think it is going to be a rematch of last year, but I think the Thunder are actually going to be able to come out ahead at the end.
Interesting that you say that, because the Thunder, the fact that they did get there last year, they lost to the Heat. I look at the Heat this year, or I look at the Thunder this year, and the concern I have, yes, they're only 2.5 games back of catching the Spurs, who have the best record in basketball. A lot of people think that the Thunder will get through. I don't. The sports books will say yes, because right now the Thunder, they're plus 20 cents at Cantor Gaming to win the Western Conference. My San Antonio Spurs are plus 180. I see value in that. Here's why. The fact they've won 5 NBA championships. Anthony talks about this as an old team. I respectfully disagree. Pop is the best coach. Pop knows best. Greg Popovich is the best coach on the planet. It's the system that works in San Antonio. The best player on the planet next to LeBron James, Tony Parker, out for a month. This team continues to win and cover point spreads by 10, 20, 30 points. Are you kidding me? The San Antonio Spurs will come out of the West. And now that's not a popular opinion, because again, the sportsbooks have the Thunder, Anthony's team, favored to come out of the West. But the question is, who's going to win the title? I say it's the Miami Heat, but I think the Spurs will come out of the West. Here's why. If you have the best record in the West, you'll be seeded 1. That means that you don't have to beat a very good Oklahoma City team and the Clippers. You only have to beat one of those two. And that's why even if Oklahoma City gets through, they're going to have to beat a good Clipper team and then go on the road and knock off the Spurs.
Okay. I don't know how you respectfully disagree that it's not an old team. The average age on the Spurs is like 48, Scott.
They have the best record in basketball.
Yeah, but that's irrelevant. They're an old team. They're physically and in age, in numbers, they're an old team.
Leonard is a young pup. Leonard is 21 years old.
How old is Tim Duncan?
Tim Duncan
How old is Tony Parker?
Dinosaur.
How old is Manu Ginobili?
Right. And look at their minutes.
All right,
he manages their minutes.
That's all I'm saying is it's an old team that
don't
down
confuse
the road,
old with proven.
Yes, and I will give them their just due in the past. But going forward, once they get to the play, it's been a long stretch already for them. And when they get to the playoffs, the youth of the Thunder, I think, is going to be what's going to propel them over the aged.
Youth or inexperience
youth.
Of the Thunder.
It's a youthful team. It's a young,
and you're going to be
team.
okay with this team on the road. I know that they went on the road last year against San Antonio, and in the conference finals, the Spurs won the first 2 games in San Antonio, then the Thunder won the next 4 games. So, I mean, history has a way of repeating itself. I'm sensitive to that, but I'm more sensitive to value and getting a good number. Give me the Spurs at plus 80 cents with home court advantage as opposed to your Thunder on the road plus 20.
You know what? Either way, I think we are looking at that matchup, and that's going to be a lot of fun.
It will be.
You know what else is going to be pretty fun? Actually, tonight we have, and I don't know why, because you've got a couple of teams that are fighting for. This is interesting. We've got the Lakers fighting to get into the 8th spot, and tonight we have a Utah Jazz team who is in the 8th spot. Nobody cares that they're even in the playoffs, but they are as of right now. And tonight they're heading to Chicago to take on a roseless Bulls team. The Bulls are favored by 4. Right now we are going to get to the spin to win, where, as you know, there's 2 teams on the wheel. We've got the Jazz and the Bulls. Scott and I are forced to take a team, make an argument for that team of why you should put your money on that team, because the smart bettor always bets with what?
Their head.
Not their heart. So we have the lovely Tara, and you know she loves that wheel. So if we could, Tara, please.
Scotty's got the Jazz.
You can stop the music, but you can't stop the Jazz, baby. The Utah Jazz. I love this team. They play good team ball, good team defense. I particularly like this team at home. They do concern me on the road, but the fact that the Bulls are laying 4 points, I see some value here with Utah, plus the points. Again, points mean more than opinions. I look for a very competitive game, and the 4 points could certainly come in and help you. Play the Jazz plus the 4, see the cashier.
You know what? This is actually a great night for the Bulls to get a good victory against the Jazz team, because here's the thing. The Bulls right now are sitting in 6th spot in the East. You know, they're there pretty comfortably, and this is without Derrick Rose. Here's the problem for them right now. They've got some injuries lately, and this is a tired, hurting team. They've lost a few games recently. They've gone kind of on an inexplicable losing streak, if you will, and they're struggling right now. So at home against a good Jazz team, this is one of those times where a team like Chicago can regroup, pull it together, and get themselves refocused and ready for the playoffs. Now, one thing I don't understand about Derrick Rose is he's been out with this knee injury for the whole season. And for the last probably 2 to 3 weeks, you've seen him make his way onto the court, to do some different drills and whatnot. Now, it's understandable, when you have an injury like that you're a little skeptical to come back, or you're hesitant, rather, to come back. But the thing is, he's now getting to a point where I'm actually starting to question, come on, man, you're dunking in pregame warm-ups. You're doing one-on-one. They're talking about how you look pretty good in your 5-on-5, practice stuff. Like, at what point do you just say, okay, I'm gonna now Kobe it up, tough it up, and get out there and get on the court and help my team? Because now I'm starting to question, where his heart is. Now, that has nothing to do with the game of the night or the game tonight, other than the fact that his presence would make a difference. The Bulls are favored by 4. I think they win by 6. It is going to be a close game because the Jazz, I believe in their last 8 games, have all been very close, within 5 points. And so I think the Jazz will make it a close game, but I still think the Bulls win by at least 6.
I have a lot of respect for this Chicago Bulls team, to validate Anthony's point. I really think the coach should flat out be up for Coach of the Year. I mean, you lose one of the best players in the league in Rose, and they're right in the thick of things. The constant that you find with the Chicago Bulls, they play tremendous defense. I love proven winners like this because you know what you're going to get, as opposed to teams that turn it on, turn it off. The Bulls, they're always going to bring the energy and the effort. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, again, it's an exciting time. I like this has been a good sports year. And it generally is. I mean, you've always got stories coming out of places that you don't know where they're going to come. But this year, just with some of the teams that have battled the way they have through injuries, and I mean, the Bulls, for some it's a little bit surprising, especially with the coaching situation, and then the Lakers just at the bottom of the barrel, which makes me happy, But it's still fun, and I think the last 15, 20 games of the season, it's going to be a fun race for the teams trying to get in.
I think every year, I mean, gosh, they play the Star-Spangled Banner 365 days out of the year, so I have action 365 days out of the year. I marvel at the talent that we see in the NBA. These guys are some of the best athletes on the planet. It's amazing to me if you're down 3 or 4 late and you have to have a 3, the defense knows you have to have a 3. 60% of the time, these guys knock down the big shot. It's really fun to watch on a night-in, night-out basis. Making money is even more fun doing it.
It is fun. It's fun making money, and my buddy here always knocks down the 3, so I'm happy to be here with him. It's Friday. It's raining in Vegas. We're here. You guys are with us on The Odds Couple. We're going to take a break. Come right back right here on the Vegas Video Network.
Traditional media believes that after about 3 minutes, you'll tune out. Most Vegas media companies think if it doesn't jiggle, you won't tune in. At the Vegas Video Network, we think both are wrong. The Vegas Video Network is the first and only live online broadcast network that specializes in insider news and expert views about Vegas. We combine great storytelling with the ability to watch when and where you want on your computer, mobile device, or television. Discover the real Las Vegas. Visit VegasVideoNetwork.com.
Welcome back to The Odds Couple on Vegas Video Network. My name is Scott Pritchard, joined as always by Anthony Padilla. We would love for you to become or continue to be a part of the show. Reach out to us by checking us out on email, oddscouple@vegasvideonetwork.com. That's oddscouple@vegasvideonetwork.com. We'd also like to field your live chat questions. Simply go to our site on the right-hand side, red bar, click there, middle of the page, hit the green bar, start recording. We also have live chat questions. If you do miss us live, no worries. Check us out, YouTube, Vegas Video Network, iTunes, also Roku. It's time for Are You Kidding Me? We're talking about sports betting, sports. What is it that frustrates you? Are you kidding me?
Man, this thing has been frustrating me since it happened. I don't understand what is going on in our culture of sensitivity and protectiveness. Can we toughen up a little bit? First of all, I want to say that I've got here today a 100% chance of storms. I'm referring not to the weather outside, but court storming in college basketball specifically. Coach K and his Duke Blue Devils lost again last week. They're not having the greatest season this year. They've lost a handful of games. Still a very good squad. However, here's one thing when you're Duke. Every time you play on the road and you lose, the team's fans are rushing the court because you're Duke. You're always in the top 5, generally the top 3. All right, so this is something they've had to get accustomed to over the years. However, last week when they lost, Coach Krzyzewski, Duke's head coach, got upset because one of the fans went up to him and started yelling obscenities and profanity. And so Coach K decided he needed to go to the media and say, we've got to do that. We've got to protect the players and the coaches better than this and get them off the court before somebody gets hurt. Look, this has been going on for decades. I'm not saying it's never happened, but I don't recall ever seeing a story in the news about a coach or a player getting trampled or injured because the opposing team's fans rush. Are your feelings hurt? Yeah. Did you just lose the game and you're upset? Of course. That's it. Drop it. This is part of the deal. Now, should opposing teams maybe have a security team in place to, knowing this is going to happen, immediately get them off of the court? Absolutely. But as far as court storming coming to an end, look, that's part of the deal. That's what you do. All right. I saw a related story about they're not allowing acrobatics with cheerleaders. They know what they're getting into. Stop taking the fun out of things. I don't know what's happened to our society. When I was a kid, man, we would play in the mud, right? There was in fact, your parents would tell you, go play in the dirt, go outside, get out of my hair, just get outside. Now, what do our parents do? Hold on, did you touch that desk? Use some Purell. We're not even exposed to the germs. This is why everybody's sick all the time. All right, you got to get a little bit of dirty. You got to get a little bit of dirty. That's a new shirt. I'm going to make that a shirt. You got to get a little bit of dirty. All right, get rid of the Purell, get a little bit of dirty. Now look, it's not just that. It's when we were kids, we were playing outside till the streetlights came on. Well, that was actually, I think, your generation, not mine. But the point is, and now granted, it was a safer time, and it's a little bit more dangerous now. But we need to toughen up just a little bit. All right, court storming is going to happen. Acrobatics are going to happen. If you drop a cheerleader, well, those are the breaks, okay? But those girls, they know what they're getting into. These guys know what they're getting into. It's part of the fun. Definitely don't take this away from the college experience because not everybody's going to get to beat Duke. And these guys think about these kids' futures and the rest of their lives. This court storming opportunity might be the only good thing they have to look forward to unknowingly. So just let's have some fun. Let's toughen up a little bit. Are you kidding me?
Sports betting, Las Vegas style. Where do you go to make bets? I step up to a mega resort hotel casino in Las Vegas to bet the limit on totals. I do a lot with second half betting on NBA, college basketball. They limit you to $550 to win $500. That's the limit. So Sunday night, the Lakers were playing. Halftime, the total came out at 103. I'm checking out some different places, and I know that's a bit happy of a total in my opinion, respectfully, so I bet the limit, $550 to win $500 under the 103. I waited a couple of minutes, and it's interesting because I was checking the numbers for the first half, and I thought, again, value here, and they didn't move the number. So what do? I went and popped it again. And they authorized it because every limit bet they have to authorize. So they authorized 2 limit bets on the total, 103 under. So a few minutes went by, and they moved it to 02.5. What do? I bet it again. Are you kidding me? So I have under 03, and under 02.5, all 3 bets they authorized and approved. So it closed 1.5. So the idea here is I'm getting 1 to 1.5 points, the best of it, for a half, which equates out to 3 points, the best of it, for a game. 2 halves times 1.5. Now, it fell 100. Lakers won by a point, and it fell 100, okay? The only thing that matters is the final score. So 2 days later, I went back to cash out, $1,650 to win $1,500, $3,150. And the sportsbook supervisor came over and said, Mr. Pritchard, can I ask you a question? I said, sure. He said, what is our limit on halftime totals? And I said, I believe, you like that? I believe. Like wasn't quite sure. I believe it's $500. He said, exactly. So why did you pop it not once, not twice, but 3 times? I said, listen, sir, with all due respect, I waited a couple of minutes. I thought maybe you needed the action on that side, so I relented and bet it. And then, of course, at 02.5, it's a different number. It's a different bet entirely. Now, I was very polite. He said, listen, it doesn't look good in the system. I'm asking that you don't do that again. My question is, but again, I don't want to get tossed, have to play the game. I'm thinking, hey, pal, if I lost, would we be having this conversation? Are you kidding me? All right, enough about that. Enough whining, crying, and complaining. Let's get to the serious part of the show. This is the part of the show where Anthony and I put money into your pocket as we together put you on the right side.
This week, for my right side, I have the Philadelphia 76ers heading to Miami to take on the Heat, going to South Beach, enjoying a little bit of the fun, and I hope they enjoy it off of the court, because on the court, I tell you what, this has been a mess. Now, before I get into this game, actually, let me go back to last week real quick. The team that I picked, they were 8.5-point favorites. They won the game by 8. I lost the bet. So let's move back to this week, which is more important. How does that happen, Scott? It's basketball, 8.5 points. Like in football, I understand. A field goal, you're looking at 3.5. They lose by 3. But in a basketball game, it's because of all that trash I talked last week. I told you, I saw Scott last Friday night, and as soon as I saw him, I was like, man, you understand. That came back to me because I just boasted out there how we've been winning and winning and winning, and I lose a basketball game by 0.5 point. It was unreal, but that's the way it works, all right? I'm going to get back on track this week, going with a sure bet, right? Sure bets.
No such thing.
Never a sure bet, as was proven last week. But a sure bet this week is the Miami Heat at home. Now, here's the stipulation. You've got a Philadelphia 76ers team who is 6-21 on the road. The Heat are 27-3 at home, which is insane. They've won 12 in a row at home, and they've won 16 games overall in a row. So they're still streaking. They're looking for win number 17, which means this has the makeup of upset. Is it an upset? I mean, the 76ers are pretty bad. Is it an upset if they win? Absolutely it is. Here's the thing. The Heat are favored by 13 points at home against the 76ers team, and there's a reason for that. And this Heat team, as I said earlier, they're gelling. They're winning. They look unstoppable right now, especially against the lesser teams, which the 76ers are. But, as my buddy Scott likes to say, it's not about the winner and the loser. It's about betting against the spread. And 13 points is a lot, even at home, especially when you're under the pressure of a 16-game win streak, riding a 27-3 record at home. At some point, that breaks, and it generally breaks against a team that you're least expecting it. So, do the 76ers have a chance of winning? I'm not really sure. I don't believe so, because they just don't have enough offensively to put up or compete, and I don't believe they have enough defensively to stop LeBron and Wade and Bosh. However, I do think 13 points is a little bit heavy. So the right side for me this week, the 76ers plus the 13.
Anthony talked about how he lost by the hook last week. I lost as well. It was by more than a hook. We don't need to talk specifics. I will say Anthony and I together, ATS against the spread, have been off the hook. We've been great trying to put money into your pocket as well as ours. Let's talk about tonight's game. I'm honing in on the Houston Rockets, not to be confused with the Houston Texans. Houston Rockets on the road taking on the Golden State Warriors in Oakland, California. The Warriors are giant killers at home. 2 nights ago, they were playing the Sacramento Kings in Golden State. The total opened 221, went up to 225, and the under won. I bet the second half under, and it won by 27 points. The only thing I had to worry about, imagine that. You bet a halftime on a total, and you win and cover by 27 points. Now you understand. A lot of disparity in totals, not so much sides. And I'll illustrate this by saying when you bet into the point spread on a side, when was the last time you won a half by 27 points? So there's a reason why, friends, that the sportsbooks limit how much you can bet on totals. It's about 90% of what I do is betting totals. So tonight's game, we have the Houston Rockets taking on the Golden State Warriors. The total for this game opened 224, 223.5. I emailed the executive producer earlier to say, listen, I like the under 223.5. It's already down to 222.5, 222. I like the half-court set that they're starting to play in Oakland. Houston, I mean, this will be a competitive game, and competitive games lend themselves to half-court. Half-court equates to eating the shot clock, shortening the game. My play, the right side under in the Oakland, or in the Golden State, not to be confused with the Raiders, but the Golden State Warriors. We are talking basketball, right? Okay. I hate to see football go. Love football. So I'm going under the points in the Golden State-Houston game. Anthony, what goes on? What are you doing this weekend?
You know what? Real quick, before we get into that, I want to bring up, because we're softly working our way into the baseball season. And before we get too far removed next week, I don't know if you saw this, because I know you don't really watch sports. I love that baseball's on now, and I'm watching spring training games every day. And in the Washington game the other day, Washington-Philly, Steven Strasburg hit Chase Utley with a wild pitch in the back ankle, clearly just got away from him. Again, this is spring training, his first start, actually, I believe. and it got away from him. The next inning, Roy Halladay throws a wild pitch behind the back of one of Washington's players, and then in the post-game interview says, it got away from me, and he gave the whole speech about sometimes that happens. Yes, you've got to protect your guys. I'm not saying in spring training it happens. I'm not saying it happened, but I am saying that you still have to look out. So he said he did it without saying he did it. He gave the correct jargon if it were the regular season. Come on, Halladay, it's spring training. What are you doing? You're starting this bad blood already? Did you see this?
I did not. I'm now hearing it for the first time, but I want Roy Halladay on my team because, unlike you, he has my back. I don't know if Strasburg did it intentionally or not. Chances are you're saying that he didn't happen, but I have to back up. Anthony always has my back. But I have to say, I want Halladay, okay? It's spring training. I love this. If Strasburg accidentally hit one of my players, as he said, I'm not so sure, okay? So Halladay threw behind the guy. It's like, hey, you know what? He has his teammates back. That's the guy I want to go to war with.
You know what? Here's how I view this as a former pitcher who always had my teammates back. I threw at a guy in an inter-squad game because the guy before him hit one of the longest home runs I've ever given up in my life to dead center over 100-foot trees, and he stood and watched it. The next guy, you better believe I threw it right behind his back shoulder, all right? And that was in an inter-squad game. So I'm all about protecting because you don't show up, guys. You take care of your teammates. Here's my problem with what Halladay did. With so much talk in Major League Baseball about, unwritten rules and you shouldn't be doing this and you shouldn't be doing that. It is spring training, so therefore, throw behind him. The message was sent on the field. You don't need to go still put it in the media. If the question gets asked, just dismiss it, laugh it off, brush it off. Don't acknowledge it without acknowledging it, but at the same time saying, yeah, I did, no, I didn't. You're facing this team 30, 40, 20 times, whatever, however many times, a couple dozen times during the regular season, hasn't even started yet. There's no reason to be starting that blood in spring training. If you're going to do it, and then move on.
I like it. I like it a lot. Spring training baseball, pitchers are throwing at each other. Big division rival between the Nats and the Phillies. The Nats are the big, fat favorite to come out of their division, and their World Series, or actually National League pennant odds favorites to win. I have no idea what I'm saying here. The Nats are favored to win the National League this year, which is saying something because we have some great teams. The Dodgers are top-heavy with talent. Philadelphia, I expect them to come back and make a serious run. The Reds will be strong in the Central.
It's going to be a fun baseball season.
It will. I can't wait.
I'm excited.
I go to Anaheim every year, watch the Angels play, and, of course, they picked up Josh Hamilton. So it's going to be a fun season.
Yes, it is. Yeah, in fact, next week, I'm going to the Cubs-Rangers spring training game here in
Vegas.
Cashman Field.
Yes.
Right
on. Great.
So that's next weekend, but we're talking about this weekend. And NASCAR is here this week, which I could care less about. If there's NASCAR fans out there, I'm sorry. You probably don't have an internet connection anyway to be watching this show. But if you are at somebody's house or at a public place where you can watch this show, NASCAR is here in Vegas. I know it's a big deal. They take the cars to the Strip. They do all these fun things. I don't care about that. But at the same time, Danica Patrick's entrance into NASCAR has gauged a little bit of my interest. I won't go to the race, but I will watch it till she wrecks and is no longer in the race, like last week.
Is that right?
Oh, you don't even bet on racing, do you?
No, I do not. No, I mean, again, I would want to back up for a second because Anthony talked about the Rangers playing the Cubs here in Vegas, and I took my daughter Skylar, age 9 at the time, to San Diego last year, and we saw the Padres play the Cubs. We sat right behind home plate. She was excited, and I explained to her, honey, this is exciting. You're seeing the Cubs play the Padres. I remember what it was like for me to watch my first Little League game.
And on that note, we will talk about what Scotty is doing tonight, carrying that comedy from the set to the stage at my show at the LVH, which is every Wednesday through Sunday, 10 o'clock. He came out last weekend, and, well, he was there. So he's coming back tonight, and he's bringing the fun and the laughs. It's always great having you out, man. It is. We have a lot of fun with you.
He has a great show, LVH. Check it out if you're in Las Vegas. Comedy After Dark with Anthony Padilla. He's kind enough to have me do a guest spot, so I'm excited about coming back tonight. But love the show. Good energy. The people that I bring to the show love it. They love you, not so crazy about me, but they love the star Anthony.
Well, that's because they haven't had the chance to get to know me. You would come out way ahead in that, so you're all right there. But, yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Sorry, I don't mean to cut you off.
Go ahead.
I get excited when you come out to do our show.
Tonight, also, if you're in Las Vegas this weekend, I do stand-up comedy on the Strip. The executive producer, Scott Whitney, his lovely wife, Whitney, or actually Melissa. Sorry, I'm pretty sure it's Melissa. Beautiful gal. That's great. No, Scott Whitney, the executive producer of the show, came out with his lovely wife, Melissa, And I do stand-up comedy and host the show every Saturday night at Bally's. Check it out if you're in town. And also check out my plays, VegasInsider.com, Pritchard'sPicks.com. For Anthony Padilla, my name is Scott Pritchard. Great to have you with us. We'll see you next Friday.